What? Where am I? This place is familiar. I've not been here for years. I don't like locked doors.
Oh, I am most wretched when alone, as every surrounding object reminds me of my irreparable loss. But no...
This was a doctor's country home. He had a townhouse somewhere around these parts.
24th of January, 1823. My dear...
The River Severn cuts through the English county of Gloucestershire, linking Bristol in the south with Gloucester. They called this place Chantry Cottage.
It was called the Chantry, from having in former times been in the possession of certain monks. It is contiguous to the churchyard of Berkeley Castle.
By all accounts, the doctor didn't travel much, but he had correspondence from all around the world.
The condition of a servant would be too severe were they not...
It was the most terrible of the ministers of death, always present, filling the churchyard with corpses, tormenting with constant fears, or...
Thus our hero, being plundered of his estate and...
Beethoven and Mozart survived the smallpox with just a few scars, but many that...
It left hideous traces of its power on those whose lives it spared.
6 children from the same family lost to the smallpox. Not every family was as unlucky as these poor souls, but 1 in 5...
At length the infection spread to the palace, and reached the young and blooming queen. She received the intimation of her danger with true greatness of soul. She gave orders that every servant...
Were your interviews for a new housemaid fruitful, Mrs. Knight?
Yes, madam. Most girls were hard-working and from respectable families, but only the Jones girl has had the pox, and plenty of scars to prove it.
Then you must select her. I will not risk the health of my family.
Looks like the key to a desk drawer. Something's changed. I'm sure those stairs were blocked a minute ago. The dining room. That fine mahogany table was the perfect place to make my inventory. That's one of them Gilray caricatures. I'll come back to it when I've explored a bit more. That's the doctor. His eyes follow you around the room. The charred remains of a scientific manuscript. Not much use right now. More of the doctor's writings. Doesn't seem relevant at the moment. There's papers everywhere. I'll come back and tidy it later.
He met with many discouragements, his notions having been treated with scorn and ridicule by some, and with indifference by almost all.
Master Wogan must have been a bright spark then. Nice landscape. Small cupboard, but probably bigger than my cell. That's just a cupboard. There's no way through here. Half of them took by consumption. Probably get me too. I don't get much fresh air.
I have entrusted a most important matter to you, which I firmly believe will prove...
So your book is out at last. Well, I can tell you that there bean't a copy sold in our town. Nor shan't neither, if I can help it.
Copy of the local newspaper from September 1784. Might read it later.
There nibbling at thistles stand Jim, Joe and Mary. On their foreheads, oh horrible, crumpled horns bud. They're Tom with a tail and poor William Old Harry.
This is where the doctor carried out his curious studies. I dread to think what kind of experiments he used to get up to in here.
There nibbling at thistles stand Jim, Joe and Mary. On their...
I have entrusted a most important matter to you.
On Thursday last at 2 o'clock, a balloon was launched from the inner court of Berkeley Castle.
A small quantity of the serum of human blood was poured over about a square foot of grass. 3 sprinklings were given at the distance of a fortnight each, amounting to the serum contained in 40 ounces of blood. The effects it has produced on the vegetation of the grass is astonishing. It is beautifully green and thick and has sprung up several inches, while the surrounding grass...
I can't afford to smoke no more.
I opened the thorax of a dog between 2 ribs and introduced the thermometer. Then I put...
Mr. Jenner, after some most advantageous and well-attested success...
I selected a healthy boy, about 8 years old, for the purpose of inoculation for the cowpox. The matter was taken from a sore on the hand of a dairymaid who was infected by her master's cows. It was inserted on the 14th of May, 1796, into the arm of the boy by means of 2 superficial incisions, barely penetrating the cutis, each about half an inch long.
I still don't understand why someone would deliberately give cowpox to a healthy boy.
Are you in good health, James? It's been 8 weeks now since you received the cowpox. Sarah Nelms, a dairy maid at a farmer's near this place, was infected with the cowpox from her master's cow.
His attention was drawn possibly to the nature of cowpox while Jenner was yet a youth. A young countrywoman came to seek advice, and the subject of smallpox was mentioned in her presence. She immediately observed, "I cannot take that disease, for I have had cowpox."
The house feels different now. Perhaps I should look upstairs. What with him spending all that time around Smallpox, I wonder why he didn't catch it himself. Something has changed again. Dr. Jenner lived through the wars against revolutionary France and Napoleon, but I don't know what role he played.
Dr. Wickham, who was one of the travelling fellows of the University of Oxford.
Sire, having made a discovery of which all nations acknowledge the benefit...
At the end of 1809, Napoleon issued a decree that 100,000 francs should... The alternative presented by the French government to His Majesty in language the most peremptory and menacing.
At 8 years of age, Dr. Jenner was put under a preparatory process for inoculation.
The smallpox, so fatal amongst us, is here entirely harmless. But
I have since met with a considerable number of these Africans who all agree in one story.
Let the atheist then, and the scoffer, the heathen and unbeliever, disclaim a dependence upon providence, dispute the wisdom of God's government, and deny obedience to his laws. Let them inoculate and be inoculated, whose hope is only in and for this life.
The effect of the preparation and inoculation was this. As a child, he could never enjoy sleep, and was constantly haunted by imaginary noises. It is without superstition a noticeable incident in a biographical account that the misery Jenner endured in the smallpox process should have laid the foundation for the extermination of the disease.
The doctor's bedroom, where he finally passed through.
I avail myself of this occasion to render you my portion of the tribute of gratitude due to you from the whole human family. Medicine has never before produced any single improvement of such utility. You have erased from the calendar of human afflictions one of its greatest. Yours is the comfortable reflection that mankind can never forget that you have...
Vaccination wasn't Jenner's only legacy, but I forget what else he got up to. There's something...
It was his intention that it should have first appeared before the public.
Dr. Jenner's discovery is unquestionably the greatest discovery ever made for the preservation of the human species. It is proved that in these United Kingdoms alone, 45,000 persons die annually of the smallpox. But throughout the world, not a second is struck by the hand of time when a victim is not sacrificed at the altar of that most horrible...
The observation of the migration of birds were read before the Royal Society on November 27th in the year Jenner passed away. They were presented to Sir Humphrey Davy by the Reverend G.C. Jenner. He was dining with a party at Bath when a question arose whether the temperature...
So felt the towering soul of Montague, her sex's glory and her country's too.
He could also play on the violin and flute, and he was in the habit of forming musical parties. I have seen him in his later years, after his renown had filled the world, and many cares had weighed heavy upon him, shake them entirely off and take up a humorous strain as he sang one of his own ballads with all the mirth and gaiety of his youthful days. Within this tomb hath found a resting place the great physician of the human race, immortal Jenner, whose gigantic mind brought life and health to more than half mankind.